G'day guys, welcome to this was not a quick layout by any means, but I have sped it up so you don't get bored. Now, I started off with my title, which is not normally a go-to. I normally do my title at the end, but I decided that I would do it first. Why? Because, as you can see, I've cut my title out 3 times. And this is going to be a really bright layout. Now, I wanted to go ahead and colour these so they had time to just set up and sit to the side. Now, if you don't have a CRICUT or a Silhouette Cameo or a Brother Scanning Cut or any of those sort of electronic machines, if you don't have one of those, you can do this with dies. So if you've got a manual die cutting machine, you can do it with those. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm creating my own thickers. That's what I'm doing. I haven't done this in such a long time, and it looks awesome. So all you basically do is cut out the title, cut out your title, your letters, your words. You cut them out a couple of times and then you stack them on top of each other. Super uber simple. It's not difficult. And no, I don't make you sit here and watch me do it to the entire title because, well, that would be like watching paint dry. So I decided that I would, as I don't normally skip things out. So disclaimer, there you go. You can see that my title has come together on the side there. And now I don't know why I pulled this mat out. I don't know. I put it away again. I don't know why I grabbed that. So I did create an offset for my title, which if you don't have a CRICUT or you don't have an electronic cutting machine, you can just simply trace around your title, glue it down, and literally just go around it and cut it with your scissors. You can do that. This is just an easier way for me. When I'm doing videos, it's just a quicker, simpler way for me to be able to create a nice long title and not bore you guys to tears with the process, because sometimes we like to see all of a process and sometimes you only need to see a few letters to see that I'm stacking them on top of each other, lining them up. That's all I'm doing. So I did speed that bit up. Now, I cut these. If you've been here for a little bit, if you haven't, hi, I'm Karen. I create scrapbooking layouts like nobody's business. I post 6 videos a week, and we will be having a giveaway over sometime in the month of May. As soon as we hit 1,500 subscribers, we will start the giveaway until the end of May. So let's hope we hit it sooner rather than later so I can tell you exactly what it is. I apologize here. My daughter came in. Jen had created it's a Minecraft Lego thing. This thing I've got in my hand is a spider with a skeleton, and she had to show me. So apologies for leaving that in there. But hey, #mumlife. So this particular layout, as I said earlier, if you have been here for 5 minutes, you may notice these flowers. Remember, I tried cutting these flowers out and they didn't work. So I thought they didn't work. Now, guess what? They actually did. It was just me that didn't work. So I cut them out again. That's when I realized, you great buffoon, they did work. Anyway, so I moved forward and I went, right, okay, I'm cleaning off my brushes here because I want to come in with some Distress Oxide. I'm just having a little play here for a minute to see how bright these are going to work. Is it going to be too streaky? What's the go going to be with this flower? And I'm just pretty much playing with this one at the moment just to see how it's going to look. And I don't mind that. So I do end up changing my process. I was using my mini blending brushes. These things are fantastic. If you haven't got yourself some and you like using inks of any description, whether they're Distress Oxides, you might have Catherine Pooler, you might have Distress, you might have Craft, Distress ink, you do you. Whatever your ink is, if you have got any inks, these mini blending brushes are fantastic. Now, I decided that I wanted a more consistent colour look across each flower. So I switched over to my finger daubers. Now, the reason I use these quite often is because I can get a lot of ink in that dauber without wasting it, and I can get a nice solid block of colour. So I'm having a play whether I'm using my brushes, whether I'm using a different dauber, just to give me a couple of different tones on these flowers. So I'm really enjoying how these are turning out. I'm liking them. I'm still not 100% confident because, as you can see, I haven't taken these off the CRICUT mat yet. I don't like that flower at all. I did that and then realised I didn't like it, but it was already down there. So the yellow and orange looks more, you know yourself, you can get flowers like pansies that are purple and yellow with a little bit of white, but that particular one, I think I did it in reverse. It should have been yellow, should have been purple with yellow in the center, but I did it the other way. But it's okay, don't worry, it's all good. Watch what I do with it as this video continues on. Now, I will apologize to anybody that gets the Miley Cyrus song stuck in their head after they read the title of my layout. And if you're anything like me, your kids constantly have new songs playing, and this particular song, it's so catchy and I love it. And when I saw these flowers, I thought, you know what, that would be perfect for my flowers. Every year I have a large pot. I used to have a wine barrel out the front of my house and near my front door, and every year we all did it, but Jen and I really love flowers. So we always go and get some potted colour and we pop it in the barrel and we love it, and it's all the goodness and the brightness, and it's adorable. And that's what we have just done. Now, I had to replace my wine barrel because it literally, well, it fell apart. It was a real wine barrel, and over time, I think it was about 15 or 16 years old. Over time, it just decayed and fell apart and just perished. So I bought a new one, and there's the title. I can buy myself flowers. If you know, you know. I apologize if it gets stuck in your head for the rest of the day. I really do. So these are the flowers that we've chosen for this particular season. I got a mini rose this time, and petunias always have to be in there. Jen will never have a flower arrangement without petunias. Now, what I'm doing here, this stencil is just all different sized flowers, right? But what I wanted to do, I did this on a layout the other day and I really liked it. I've gone down a bit of it. I know, look, trust me, stick with me. It looks good in the end. I was a little bit scared to commit to a black background with all these bright flowers. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to do something completely different. Let's just contrast this big time. So I grabbed the black and I thought, you know what? It might look good. It might look like utter rubbish, but it might look good. So I'm going to do it, and then that will save you guys if you ever think, oh, maybe that'll work. If it doesn't work, I did it first and I saved you some money on some paper. And as I always say, it's just paper. We're not saving world hunger here. It's a little bit of paper, and if it works, it works. So what I used was the Ranger Texture, I'm going to say this right this time, Ranger Texture Paste Transparent Matte. That's what I used. So all I'm trying to create in the background is, I don't want that stenciling to be overpowering. I don't want it to come forward too much. I want it to be about the flowers, but it needed something in the background because this particular black cardstock it's it's not textured, and it's very matte. It's very, I can't explain it. There's something about this black cardstock. Once I've used it all, I will be purchasing the American Crafts black textured cardstock, because that will work so much better for me. But I got this stuff cheap from Amazon, and it was, I can't even remember the brand of it, but it doesn't cut well. It falls apart. You can't use it in your cutting machine, so I can't use it. I can use it in a die cut scenario, but I can't use it on my CRICUT mat. It doesn't work. So I'm not a fan of that black. So I wanted to start using it up. Now, as you can see, I managed to get my flowers off the mat. And what I realized when I did that is it's actually not all cut out. So I thought it would be, the first time I cut these flowers, I thought it would be like an outside border, and then all the petals would come apart and it would all sort of, do you know what I mean? That's not what these flowers are. So and I just got these off the Design Space, CRICUT Design Space, and I just clicked on them, went down until I found some that I thought looked good. And so far, I'm really happy with this. I'm going through, I've glued the center pieces, right? So I've glued down the very center of each flower so they don't keep moving around, because some of these petals have completely cut right through and some haven't. Now what I'm doing is I'm actually going around, and I believe they call them the stamens of the flowers. I could be saying that wrong, but they're all cut out, so you can curl them. I'm sort of pulling them forward with my CRICUT hook there, and I'm sort of pulling them so that they stick up. It's free texture. Why not? Free dimension. So basically I'm doing that, and I've glued it down in the center, and then I'm going through with you can see my little tiny squares off the side there. Now these are foam squares, and they are the Stickmaster brand. And I got those I bought a stack of them from Crafts Online. So and they're dirt cheap. From there, they're like, I got them when they were on sale one time. And they're on sale. Look, Crafts Online, because they're so huge, they have sales every 3 or 4 days. They put new stuff up on sale. So things like your foam, your Stickmaster foam, your foam tape, all that sort of stuff, it comes up really quite regularly. So you can pick yourself some of that up. Now, I didn't want my title to be perfectly lined up. I want it to be a bit wonky sort of thing. Like the flowers down the bottom. I want them to be not so perfect. So at this point, I was starting to think to myself, is this working or is this not working? I don't know. Now, these two flowers off to the side that I had there, I wasn't a fan of what was in the middle of them. So I thought, you know what, if I cut them in half, I may be able to just stick half flowers in there, and it might be what I'm looking for here. What I actually realized when I got almost to the very end of it, if you've been here for a little bit, you'll know that I fussy cut a heap of Vicky Bouton leaves off one of her sheets of cardstock. I can't even remember which. I think it was Colour Study collection. Anyway, at the very beginning of this, I thought, oh, I'm going to use those leaves. And do you think I could put my hands on them? I could not find those leaves to save myself. Well, it turns out that I'm going through and I'm putting all these little glass balls down, and I completely forgot about the leaves. So, and I couldn't work out what wasn't right about it. Like, there was something, still at this point, there was something not quite right. Now, my photos, I've just watered the plants, and there's some beautiful big droplets of water on them. And that's why I'm using these. These are the Uniquely Creative Mermaid Bubble Beads, they're called. And if you put a dot of art glitter glue, you can pop these, and they're little they're like balls. If you're Australian, you would know hundreds and thousands. They're just like that, except they're clear. And I absolutely love them. So I popped all those down, and then I sort of started thinking to myself, well, maybe what I'm needing is my liquid pearls, because I knew that I wanted to put them in the center of the flowers, like where the stamens are and stuff. I wanted to add extra dimension with that, and a bit of metallic, because I did notice that there's no metallic on there, Karen. Now, if I had have taken a step back, whenever I create a layout, I don't prefab it. I don't, essentially, I'm scrapbooking this with you. So as I'm grabbing bits and pieces off the shelves. I'm going into different collections and pulling bits and pieces out. And that's exactly how I scrap. I don't struggle. Like when it comes to a class, when I do my free classes, that you guys can follow along with, I do plan that out. But this, when I'm scrapping like this, it's just me going for it. So I'm just adding some liquid pearls in there, and I'm liking it. Then I realize it needs a white border. I have got a thing where I like to have repetition of each color on a layout. So for example, my two bold colors that I use on a layout, which are usually the contrasting ones. So if I'm using a black background, like I am here, I'm using the black background. I've got black in my photos. Where's the third bit of black? There's no third bit of black, right? The same deal with the white. So I've got it in my offset. I've got white around my photos, but then there's no more white. And that is where I struggle. So it's at this point I remembered my leaves. So I'm going through and I'm trying to find the leaves that I fussy cut. I could not find them. So I just found a strip of this. This is out of one of the Vicky Booten collections. It's one of her current ones. And it's got like a grid pattern on it. So I just really roughly cut out some leaf shapes, and I decided that would work. And as soon as I put that on there, I went, that's what you're missing, you crazy woman. You forgot your leaves. So I think it just makes a flat two-dimensional flower. I think it makes it more believable that it's a real flower if you've got a couple of leaves chucked in. Now I needed to create sort of a visual triangle with the green leaves, so I've chucked a couple of them in there, and now I've just got to get a couple down here on the bottom, and then I think it will look okay. So then I was like, okay, that's a bit better, makes it a little bit more realistic, right? Now I just free cut those. I mean, you can go through and stamp if you want and all that sort of thing. You can die cut, totally your call. Now I did not go, yes, I'm ambidextrous, in case you're curious. Yes, so I went along and I trimmed, I didn't even measure it, I just sort of guessed it. And it gave me, I apologize, that's emails coming in. So I actually went around and created a border. Then I realized the metallic is not standing out as much as I would like it to. So I had just purchased these new black and gold metallic washi tapes. So I decided that I'd run a gold border, so leave myself a tiny little 1/8 of an inch border, and then of white, and then the gold, and then the black. And that I'm much happier with that. I think it looks so much better. That's Jen saying hi. She's got I painted her nails. She's got like a French tip, which is super cute. She does long nails really well. Now, I think I should have stopped here, but I did it anyway. And that's just my homemade mica spray. and I just put a little sprinkle of that on. It's very, very reflective. In real life, it doesn't quite look this bold in the background, but I think it works. So then I just ran a bit of pen work around the border, and then I was happy with it. So let me know what you think. I know this was a bit of a up and down sort of layout, but let me know what you think. Do you think, is it a hit or is it a miss? Nah, yeah, nah. What do you reckon? I think it turned out to be a nah, yeah, in the end. But we definitely went through some ups and downs with it. You can see how thick the faux thickers are that I created, that you can do quite easily with die cuts. The florals, the way they stick up, the gold, I think it all works. Now, if you're new to my channel, I create 6 videos a week. I bring you as much of every single layout as physically possible. I speed things up rather than editing things out, so you can actually see what works and what doesn't work. I leave the good stuff in as well as the bad stuff, so we can all learn from each other. Now, as you can see, lots and lots of texture in there. I love those little bubble beads. They are fantastic. And the other thing I wanted to mention was, as soon as we hit 1,500 subscribers, from then until the end of May, we will be having a giveaway, and there will be 2 prizes, and you will want to be involved. If you like scrapbooking supplies, you'll want to be involved. So it's just my little way of saying thank you to you guys for sticking around and encouraging my channel and allowing it to grow and be a good little community. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will chat to you again soon. Bye for now.